Good morning. Time is 5:40. I woke up 10 minutes ago. I pretty much wake up around this time every single day. I don't set an alarm. If my body needs more sleep, I'll just sleep a bit later, or if I get up earlier, then so be it. With how I like to structure my day now, with my hybrid training, job one is go to the gym. But before that, we need to eat.
But I'm just saying, fan of authoritarian strongmen, that's for sure.
I like to try and get around 60 to 70 grams of carbs before I train in the gym. I know a lot of people who train early like me will train fasted. I kind of think if you can stomach food early in the morning, because I have no problem. Like I love eating, so I can easily eat at 5, half 5. If you can't stomach it, either get some liquid calories in, but like of a fast digesting carb, something like cyclic dextrin, or you'll just have to train fasted. But for me, I have much better sessions, much better pumps if I actually eat some fast digesting carbs before I train. In that meal, there was 30 grams of jam and a bagel. That will digest within 30 to 40 minutes. It takes me 20 minutes to get to the gym anyway. I have plenty of time right now to eat that and then go and have a good gym session. I would always encourage you, if you can stomach it, you will have a much better session and you'll feel a lot better if you get some carbs in you, and make sure they're fast digesting carbs. What I'm about to do now, every morning I will track my weight and basically all my stats from the rest of the day, well, from the previous day. It's got like my steps in there, my sleep score. Because I don't have a coach right now, this is the way that I track for myself how I've been doing over the past period of time. I can see my average weight on there, so I can see what my weight's doing, in case you're interested. I've been borderline slowly losing weight recently, which is kind of not what I want, so I need to actually up the calories. I'm on between 3 and 3,400 calories a day right now, but you'll see from today why I burn so many calories. I like to track this stuff. I think it's important to have a record of where you've been throughout X amount of time. So every morning I fill this out and just put yesterday's stats on there, including my body weight from today, which was 76.55. One thing I forgot to mention as well is that I will try and get pretty much a litre of liquid in me, so a litre of water before I go to the gym. I genuinely find that I just feel groggy if I don't have enough water, and obviously having the water is going to help with your pumps, energy levels, digestion, etc. So it kind of goes without saying how important that is, but definitely try and get that in. But yeah, I've got pool now. The gym is kind of the thing that I'm not enjoying the most right now, so that's why I do it first thing in the morning, just get it out of the way, starts the day good. So yeah, it's 6:15, I'm about to leave for a pool session. But obviously first things first, I do need to go and make my pre-workout. I probably have about 200 milligrams of caffeine before I train. Just wakes me up nicely. When I'm planning my pool sessions, I think about my weak points and areas I want to bring up, as well as areas that I'm just not that interested in bringing up. So for me, a weak point is my lats. It's mainly due to insertions, but my lats are not a strong point on my back. My upper back is a strong point, and so a lot of this session is focused around growing my lats. My arms are also a strong point, my biceps. So biceps I barely hit, but you'll see that towards the end. First exercise is a wide grip pull down. I think there's really two ways of hitting your lats on a lat pull down. You either do a close-ish grip where your elbows are in front of you, pulling them down, or a wide grip where you're pulling your elbows into your side. I find right now the close grip just incorporates too much tricep, so I prefer doing a wide grip. Takes my arms pretty much out of it, and the pump I got in my lats from doing that was amazing. Moving on, we did a cable row. I do single arm on this, mainly just because I like to do a single arm movement every time I hit back, because then you don't get mismatch of how your lats look on your back. So I do a single arm lat focus row. With this, the main thing is to not retract your shoulder. You're trying to keep your shoulder down, but you're not pulling with your shoulder. You're keeping your shoulder down, fixed in place, and just pulling your elbow down and back. You keep your elbow as close as you can to your side, and that's how you hit your lat. I try and stay relatively upright with this. You really don't want to be expanding your rib cage as you come back, because all you're going to do when you pull your shoulders back is just retract your upper back and take the tension off your lats. The next movement after that is an upper back focused barbell row. Again, because upper back is a bit of a strong point for me with back training, I'm not too fussed about this. I do this towards the end because I'd rather have all my energy for the lat focus movements. But with this, you're trying to get your torso as close to parallel with the floor as possible. It's quite difficult to do that, especially if you've got poor flexibility like me. But the main thing is you don't want to be rounding your lower back. You just want to keep a nice brace in your core while you do this, and then we're thinking about pulling your elbows out and back rather than keeping them tucked in like you were trying to hit your lats. You want to keep them, pull them out, because that's going to hit your rear delts, your traps, and your whole upper back area. And then moving on, this is a bit of a finisher. I hate the term finisher, but we're doing a cable pullover. This again is hitting your lats. It's a similar movement to a close grip lat pull down, but you're targeting your lats in the stretch position here. I like to do this just to get some extra volume into my lats at the end. I find that doing this doesn't make me excessively sore, so why not do some extra volume? Because we're nearing the end of the session. I think I'm only about 35-ish minutes into my session right now, so we do have plenty of time for that. And then finally after this, we've got a superset, standing bicep curls and bent over rear delt flies. The reason why I do it like this is because I enjoy standing dumbbell curls like this. I know they're not the most optimal, but I just enjoy them. My arms are a weak point, so I can just do what I enjoy. We do 2 sets of each, and the rear delt flies, a better way to do the rear delt flies would be its own separate exercise, probably on a rear delt fly machine, but I've already hit my rear delts a little bit doing bent over rows, so this is kind of a finisher, dare I say it. So we're supersetting these, and this is the last exercise of the session. I really find that that's all I need for a pull day. This is 45 minutes that it took me getting in and out. That's how I structure all my sessions now. I'll do 2 sets on most exercises and just try and get as much in as little time as possible, and I just focus on bringing up my lagging body parts, and things like arms I'm really not focused on growing right now, so I'm fine just doing 2 sets right at the end. And yeah, that whole session was 45 minutes. Let's get back on with the video. So pre-workout meals are about just getting loads of carbs in to fuel your pump, fuel your energy for the session. I don't worry so much about protein, and definitely no fats and minimal fibre in that. Post-workout is a bit different. You still want a lot of carbs because you want to refill the glycogen that you've depleted during that session, and getting loads of carbs is going to help push those nutrients into the muscles to actually help them repair. So we've got 60 grams of oats, 20 grams of honey, some cinnamon, 30 grams of whey protein, jammy biscuit Perform protein, not sponsored, wish I was, and 80 grams of banana. The macros for this, in fact I'll put the macros on the screen now, but this is great because there's a lot of protein in here. We've got some fast acting carbs with the honey and banana, so that's going to actually refill the glycogen quicker, but then the oats is also going to keep me full for longer. Now in theory, if you were like a proper, say, bodybuilder, you would want to have just fast acting carbs post workout because that's going to help replenish those glycogen stores faster. But in the real world, I actually like having some slow release carbs as well because it just keeps me full for longer, so I'm not wanting to eat straight away, and so that's why I have the oats. Plus I enjoy the oats, so I just have them in there, and this is a great hit of carbs and protein post workout. I actually forgot to mention as well, there is 12 grams of creatine in this. I will normally have between 10 and 15 grams of creatine a day. 15 if I'm tired, closer to 10 if I'm not, because creatine will actually acutely offset any sort of tiredness related things you've got, and so if you're sleep deprived, having more creatine that day is actually very good for you. But this is going to help me also fuel my run later with those slow release carbs. Yo, how we doing, mate? Hope you're all good. Your bench is fucking flying at the moment. It's gonna be like a 10-second grind. That stress on your like central nervous system is not worth it, because the energy it's gonna take to get that last rep is gonna actually impact the rest of your session and like the later sets on this exercise so much that it's just not worth it. Also, you are getting on for 10 kg heavier than this time last year. That's fucking crazy. Say, like, literally same conditions, same lighting, everything. That is a huge difference in a week. So, like, you can see visibly more abs, chest is more defined. Face looks a little bit slimmer as well, mate. In a week, that's amazing. It's working really well. You're almost at 15 kg down. Like, that's pretty fucking mega, mate. Like, you should be very proud of how far you've came. It is 10:15. We are done with check-ins for today. Some good ones there. Hopefully you enjoyed actually getting a bit of an insight into what a check-in actually is, because I feel like when you look into online coaching and they go and like a coach goes, oh yeah, you get like a weekly check-in, who knows what that means. So that's kind of what it means. It's essentially my chance to make sure that people are making progress week on week, and you saw from that some of my guys are making a lot of progress, which is great. Now it's time to have some more food. The thing about hybrid training is that you need to eat a lot. I mean, yesterday I ate 3,000 calories and I lost half a kg. So I did not do that much activity yesterday. I trained twice, but the run was very short. So like I said, if you don't eat enough and you have like a good bit of muscle mass, you just lose weight. So yeah, anyway, it's time for some more food, and then I'm probably gonna have a monster, chill out for a little bit, because it's been kind of go since I've been back, and I find check-ins, because I'm really kind of I'm focusing so much to make sure I'm giving people the attention they need, it is very draining. And so I just draining in a good way, and so now is the time where I need to just chill out a bit. Gonna eat some food, probably have a monster afterwards, because I didn't have a monster yesterday, I don't think, and I miss them. My memory card just ran out of space. I'll get this done quick. And I need to go and get some more steps in, because I'm only on 1900 steps and I need to hit at least 10k today. Yes, I'll do most of that from my run, but I still like to get a good 20-minute walk in the morning, and then I'll probably go to a coffee shop and do some more work there, because I do like going to a coffee shop. It gives me a good chance to lock in. It's flashing at me. I need to end this now. What are you like? Do you not want to sit there? That's not the blanket that he likes. He was just sticking his head down there trying to find the blanket he actually likes. He's so funny. Anytime his blanket is being washed and he can't sit on the blanket he likes, he sits there thinking, what am I going to do? Like, my blanket isn't there. So in this meal that I'm making, we've got 250 grams of 0% fat Greek yogurt, 20 grams of peanut butter, 20 grams of whey protein. Because I want some extra carbs as well, I'm putting some honey hoops in here, like Sainsbury's own brand Cheerios basically, and 100 grams of blueberries. You gotta make sure they're frozen though, they taste so much better. There's also a misconception around salt. Salt gets a really bad rap, because if you have too much salt, it can lead to higher blood pressure, which is obviously not good for you. If you don't eat loads of processed foods, then you don't have to worry about it. It's the processed foods, when you're getting takeaways and stuff, that's what has loads of salt in. I would recommend that you salt every meal. I actually will do like a shot of salt sometimes, because you will notice a big difference in your performance if you get headaches from dehydration, and digestion's a big one. Salt helps with digestion. It's the electrolytes in it, so definitely make sure you are having adequate salt, assuming you're not having a lot of processed food. What I would do in terms of electrolytes versus salt, I have salt with every meal, but then if I'm training, like if I'm doing running, so for today for example, I'm going to go for a run, I will sweat a hell of a lot during that. So I will actually have some electrolytes, some electrolyte powder that I have. I will have that around my run time. But if you're just, sweating a little bit, but it's just a normal day, you're training a little bit, then salt does the job. Are you guys familiar with the term retard maxing? You're probably not, and I wasn't until recently, but I actually think it's amazing. So it's basically a lot of really successful people act dumb, so they will, or act like a retard, so they will just move on from things so fast, because any sort of losses they just don't think about. Like, you just don't deep stuff too much, you don't overanalyze anything, because a dumb person wouldn't have the brain capacity to overanalyze anything. So the idea of retard maxing is you almost put yourself in that state where you don't overanalyze stuff and you just make decisions, execute them. If they fail, move on and don't overthink it. And it's something that I'm trying to do a bit more of myself, just retard max, because I have a tendency to overthink things, and I think a lot of smart intellectual people have that as well. But if you can just get into the habit of not overthinking things and doing a bit more retard maxing, I think it would benefit you, because I know it does benefit me. I just have to work really hard to do it. Hits every time. Didn't record at the cafe, but did just go to a cafe, got tons of work done there. That's why I like going, just to fucking lock in. But I didn't walk beforehand, so I'm only on 2,916 steps. Monster's going down. I'll eat some more food, and then we'll go for a run. I am looking forward to this run. My shins are feeling a bit tender after yesterday's run, which is not good because I'm trying to fucking recover from these shin splints. So today, just to preface, this will be about a 4 to 5k run, something like that, depending on how the shins feel. I'm not going to drive myself into the ground because this is going to be like a moderate run. I have more of a harder run on Friday. Right, so we're about to go for a run. This is my pre-run meal. We've got 3 rice cakes, 30 grams of honey, 2 dates, add 2 fruit pastels because why not, and a ton of salt on there. It is 28 degrees, so I'm going to sweat a lot on this run. It's important that we get a lot of salt beforehand and after the run. I always find, I can tell when I'm dehydrated, when I haven't had enough electrolytes, because I will get headaches during my run. Because of my ankle and shin splint situation that I've got going on, this is what I'm doing before the run. I'm just doing a bit of warming up the ankles. I'll go side to side, just because if my ankles have got blood in them already, they're nice and warm, then potential ankle issues shouldn't happen so much. I'm also trying some new running shoes today, which should be interesting. Let me show you the running shoe setup that I've got going on. There's currently 4 shoes in my rotation. Can't believe I'm talking about a running shoe rotation. You genuinely don't need a rotation. It's just, for me, I like to make sure I've got the right equipment for the job, and because I've had these little niggles with my shins and my feet going numb and my ankles hurting because honestly I ran too much too fast early on, it helps me having different shoes for every kind of type of run. So the first shoe is my Vomero Plus. This is what I use for essentially a very slow jog. I find these are great for that because they are so soft and cushioned. But any sort of faster run, anything where you want to not even pick up the pace at a crazy amount, but just a decent amount, being a relatively heavier runner, I just find the foam really unstable and it makes my calves and Achilles just work too hard because of how soft this is. So that's why I only use these now for my very slow runs. Now when I'm picking up the pace a little bit, like I'm going to today, I'll wear these. And I say I'll wear these, I haven't worn them yet. They feel really good when I try them on. These are Puma Deviate Nitro 4s. They've got a carbon plate in, but you can see they're quite bendy. Like it's not a proper stiff kind of race plate. These are what I'm going to use when I am going for a more of a workout run, but not like a proper all-out run. I don't think this would be a long run shoe. I think probably the Vomero Plus is going to be like a slow long run shoe, and then the next shoe would be like a fast long run shoe. This is just a bit of an all-rounder from what I can tell. I'm going to try it today. I'll let you know how I get on. And this was actually an accidental purchase, so that leads me on to my next shoe. I wanted to buy some shoes that I could run faster in because the Vomero is what I had first, and then I wanted to buy some shoes that I could run faster in that are a bit more responsive. I bought, I'm going to return one of these, but I bought Saucony, I think Endorphin Speed 5s, Puma Deviate Nitros, and the Adios Pro 4s. Oh my fucking god, this shoe suits me perfectly. I did a 5k PB, my previous 5k PB before I got these in my Vomeros was 29.5 minutes. I ran a 5k at the weekend about 2 to 3 months after my previous PB in these, and I ran it in 23 minutes 56 seconds or something. These just suit me perfectly. They've got carbon rods in, you could probably see it there. They just feel amazing. It's a pretty stiff shoe, but it's very soft as well at the same time, so It's good if you're a slightly heavier runner, I think. If you're a heel striker, probably won't work for you because this is quite kind of unstable. But if you are a forefoot or a midfoot runner, like a striker, then this works perfectly. It's got quite a big rocker, which just takes a lot of the tension off my calves and Achilles, because that's a big kind of tight spot for me. So these, when I'm running fast, just feel incredible. But unfortunately, you literally cannot run slowly in them. They just make you run so fast that they're not a shoe that you can wear a lot, so they're probably not going to get taken out that much, unfortunately, because they do feel amazing. And then finally, I have some trail running shoes. These are the Salomon Ultra Glide 4s. These genuinely feel incredible. I would say these feel similar to the Vomeros, but a tiny bit more responsive and less cushioned. And obviously the grip, like, I've got a lot more grip. They have these pull toggle laces rather than proper laces. These are going to be my walking all day shoes and obviously trail running shoes. I've done a few trail runs in these. They feel amazing. The issue I've got with trail running is that it is just so hard. If you want to go for just a chill run, a trail run is not good, at least where I live, because I live around tons of hills, and that's very hard on your legs, which again is not what I want. But the trails are good because they're softer, so they're less impact, so that can balance out if you can find a flat trail. But yeah, these are my trail running shoes, and that is my shoe rotation that I've got going on right now. And like I said, today I'm going to run in these, and I will let you know how I get on. I think I'm the only one crazy enough to be out right now. It's 30 degrees. There's literally no one here. Right, so update. This is what I did. To be honest, I'm fucking wrecked. My heart, it was so hot, like I couldn't get my heart rate below 165. My feet went numb as shit towards the end. Literally, I'd say until about 4.12k, completely fine. Like my legs just felt fucked. It's my calves and like soleus and Achilles that I can feel that they're actually fine. Now before, it was just like my shins hurt and then my feet would go numb. Now it's like my shins don't hurt. It's just my calves and Achilles are getting so overworked. I think it just pushes it onto my feet. I thought it was because my sciatic nerve was getting like compressed by my piriformis and my glute, and it could be that, and that does seem to help when I like work around that. I've got salt in my eye, sweat, shit. On the plus side, these shoes felt amazing. I also need some different fucking earphones because these AirPods keep falling out, especially the right one. When I get really sweaty, sweat gets in there and it just falls out. Right, so I've just watched that back and I've realised I moaned a lot in that. So I wanted to give you something useful that you can actually take away from this, because the reason why I get the foot numbness, shin splints, etc. is because I neglected impact work, calf work, etc. my whole lifting career. So essentially I'm running with the lower legs that I had when I was like 15 kg lighter, and it's a lot more impact now. I weigh so much more going on my legs, and I was just an idiot and I didn't build up the mileage slowly when I first started running, so now I have to work around it, and it won't be around forever. I will be able to fix it, and the stuff I'm doing is helping. The foot numbness and shit and whatever else today didn't set in until a lot later, which is good. If you are wanting to start running, you need to build up slowly. You cannot go in too much too fast. You might, if you weigh about 60 kg, maybe you could, because you're not putting that much impact through your legs. But if you've been lifting for a while like me and you want to start running, build up slowly. Even if you think you can do more, drop the ego and build up slowly. And that's what I do when I program other people. I don't tell them to go and run 20k to start with, because that would be fucking stupid, and that's how you get problems. It's much easier to prevent the problem starting in the first place than it is to manage it once you already have it. Man, I feel grim. I'm so just like, I'm not sweaty anymore, but I'm just covered in previous sweat. Post run food, got another bagel and jam, same as my pre-workout meal earlier. Had about 5 or 6 fruit pastels, and I had 2 dates as well. There's a good like 80 grams of carbs there. Plus I've got a scoop of electrolytes in here. Now, like I mentioned earlier, don't like to have electrolytes all the time. I just think it's unnecessary. But when I've been for a run and you could see how much I was sweating, like I was dripping in sweat, I would have lost a lot of salt and, well, sodium and other electrolytes. So it's worth just having all of them rather than just the sodium. I feel good, but I'm also fucked at the same time. And I've got a 40k bike ride tomorrow. Okay, it's currently 7:20. I'm pretty much ready to go to bed. I'm fucking knackered. Since that jam and bagel, I think was the last clip, I did also have some chicken and rice straight after that, because it's important to add, after your workouts, you do also want protein. So I just wanted some quick carbs. I was just ravenous, and I haven't been eating enough recently, as I've realised, because like I lost half a kilo last night just by accident because I'm working out so much. So just getting in more calories where I can. But I wanted to clear up some misconceptions about hybrid training well, now we're at the end of the video. So first of all, the people like me and Nick Bear, those BPN lot, those hybrid athletes, I'm not comparing myself to Nick Bear, but I'm just saying a lot of people who have a bodybuilder type physique that do lots of running and cycling, they didn't get there by doing the training they're doing now. Most people, including myself, we got this physique by training, eating, doing cardio like a bodybuilder, and now we're doing running and cycling whilst gaining this physique. If I was training with my cardio and running, cycling and running, how I'm doing now, I wouldn't have made this much progress in my physique. That's because I do a lot of like threshold and tempo stuff with the cycling and running, especially the running, and that's the thing that's going to be really detrimental to actually your physique goals. That's why with most people, when I'm programming, say running into their programming, it'll be a strict zone 2. Yes, you can have certain times where you are pushing the intensity, you're going zone 3, 4, 5, but ultimately that puts so much stress on your body that you actually blunt that mTOR. I think it's the mTOR pathway, which is responsible for protein synthesis and building muscles. You blunt that pathway when you're doing this high intensity cardio, because when you're not in the gym, your body's trying to recover and build muscle. So if you're doing something that stresses out your body, that takes you out of that sort of rest and recover ability, and yeah, it can not be conducive to building muscle, which is why if you are looking, or if you want to maximize your chances to grow, absolutely running and cycling can be in there, and actually I encourage it as a well-rounded hybrid approach, but you shouldn't be doing most of your work in that higher zone heart rate range. You should be trying to keep most of your cardio to that zone 2 range, and occasionally dip into zone 4 and 5, but nowhere near as much as say me or like someone else you might watch does. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to leave the video there. If you've enjoyed, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, all of that. I will, just before I end the video, tell you what I have eaten today in terms of macros. So every day, I showed you this in the previous video, but I basically track what I eat every single day, and so today I can see that I've eaten 3,200 calories. Bear in mind I had an ice cream as well today, so it's this plus the ice cream. Had 3,200 calories, 215 grams of protein, 461 grams of carbs, 56 grams of fat, and 37 grams of fibre. That is also quite like a hybrid approach to nutrition, because the fat's low, carbs are high as possible, protein I keep above 200 grams. I don't like to waste calories on protein, which is why I don't try and make it too much above 200, but I find 200 is a nice sweet spot when it comes to building muscle and maintaining / growing this physique whilst doing this much other stuff. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll put my last video about what I eat during a rest day here. I'd appreciate you subscribing. Let me know if there's any videos you want to see. If you're interested in online coaching, there's a link below for that. But yeah, until the next video.